Hi, welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
I'm Kelly.
And I'm Lori.
Tonight, we're going to do Real Housewives of Salt Lake. But first, Lori has a few would you rathers for us.
Yes, I do.
I'm very excited.
So some are like this or that, and some are would you rathers. It's all the same nonsense. Okay. So, reading a book or listening to an audiobook?
Oh, that's easy. Audiobook.
Cal?
I want to say read a book because I used to read all the time. But at this point in my life, like now I'm so used to listening to podcasts, I think I would listen to an audiobook. Car, and then I could just listen to it.
Yeah. So music.
No, what about you?
Me? I'd rather read a book. Okay. So music in your car or a podcast in your car while you're driving?
Podcast.
I'm going 50-50 on that one because I like my Pandora, especially this time of year. I'm already listening to my Christmas music.
Mm-hmm.
But I do also listen to podcasts. So I'm 50-50 on that one.
Yeah, I'm totally music.
If I'm in the car by myself, I'm exclusively listening. I'm totally podcast. I need to be learning something.
There you go.
Whether it's gossip, hot
Yeah,
topics,
exactly.
or better ways to do the podcast. I'm always need to be learning something.
Yeah. Well, I enjoy driving and seat dancing. So that's where I am. Okay. So crunchy peanut butter or smooth?
Smooth.
Oh, that's a good question. I like both, but I'll go smooth.
Yeah. I think
What about you, Laura?
I think I'll go smooth too, but I would eat both. I do like both. Okay. So now in schools where children wear uniforms, should the staff have to wear uniforms?
No.
I think they should.
Question, but no, I don't think so.
No, you don't think so?
Why?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't. So you're allowed to have your own opinion. I just was wondering why. Like, why do you want them to wear uniforms?
I don't know. I just figured if the kids have to wear them, why not the staff? All right. So this is the last one. It's odd. Okay. Would you rather see animals dressed like humans or babies dressed as animals?
Babies dressed as animals.
Yeah, me too.
Babies dressed as animals.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And so I have more for next time.
I mean, listen, animals are going to be cute no matter what.
But I don't know, dressed as humans, it's kind of weird.
Great.
That'd be weird.
Okay, so we are going to talk about Salt Lake City, Season 5, Episode number 9. This one is called Revenge is Best Served in Coach.
I can't wait to get there.
I know. So we are Palm Springs, day 1. We pick up with John telling Lisa that Todd said, if you and Bronwyn can't work it out, then we're going to have to leave. And Lisa's outside crying, talking to John, saying, I think that there's one common denominator here between Bronwyn and Angie, and it's Whitney. Whitney stirs up everything. No,
yes,
the common
I've
denominator.
done nothing wrong, and it's all Whitney's fault.
Yes. I wrote that down. Blame it all on Whitney.
Yes. And then John says, you need to have a conversation with Bronwyn without anyone else around. Lisa says, that's what I want to do. But what does she do as soon as she gets at the table full of people? She brings it up.
She brings it up.
I was like, he was sitting next to her. Like, why didn't he pinch her? Just don't get her.
I don't think John speaks up to Lisa.
No,
obviously.
No, he certainly does not.
He's so whipped.
If we've learned anything at the end of this episode, it's John's whip.
Absolutely.
So she starts with Bronwyn, I want to talk to you, and we need to finish our conversation. She said, with Heather, I don't think there's anything to defend because she was just expressing her feelings. So I just was listening to her, and she's allowed to have feelings. And I'm like, and Bronwyn's sitting there with this look on her face like, no, there is something to defend because she didn't say this yet, but Heather was calling her two-faced. That wasn't her expressing her feelings. But Lisa just doesn't get it. And then she goes on to say, well, if there's people that are lying about me, and Whitney's like, at the other end, the complete other end of the table, I wasn't lying about you. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And the look on Todd's face.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he just had this conversation with John.
Right. Like Lisa went from one to the other.
I really don't get her.
Mm-mm.
I really don't.
And Lisa saying, I have a different way of speaking, and if you don't understand me, I'm sorry. No, that's not it. That's not it.
Yeah.
Well,
because she was being aggressive.
Yeah. Well, that was after. Then John says, just ask Lisa. Whitney, ask Lisa. So Whitney says, Lisa, did you do that with the Alibaba?
Alibaba.
And Lisa said no. And John said, okay, good, fine. Okay, so there you have your answer. And now he told Lisa to ask Whitney something. What did he tell Lisa to ask?
He did. Are you lying?
Are you lying? Right.
Yeah.
And she said no. Right. And then Bronwyn in her confessional was like, oh, good. This is what we needed for like the men to come in and explain this to us.
Yeah, we just needed John to ask a couple of questions.
Right.
Yeah, fix everything.
And then all of a sudden, Sean jumps in. Right. And then Sean jumps in and says that Lisa was very aggressive and spoke to my wife very aggressively and told her to shut the fuck up.
That's when Lisa said it.
That's when Lisa said,
yeah,
maybe you don't understand the way I talk.
Yeah.
No, they understood exactly what you said.
They just don't like it.
Right. Exactly.
She is from New York, though, right? She grew up in New York.
But still, own it. Say this is what I meant. And it was still weird too, because Whitney's before John even stood up for it, Lisa's like, well, where's the proof? Where are you going to get the proof? From the horses in the field? I mean, like, what?
Yeah.
She just carries on like a lunatic.
Mm-hmm.
She's like a little spoiled brat.
It's exactly
that is an understatement.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
That's an understatement. So Todd's getting pissed and he goes to get up at this point. And Bronwyn's like, just stay. And I don't know why he did stay. I don't know. So they finish that conversation. And then Seth says, what did he say? I just have one question. No, I have two very important questions. I just want to know, everyone, when they eat asparagus, do they smell it in their pee?
Like, that is, you know what?
Try to break the ice with that one. Huh?
My husband will not eat asparagus.
Well, I love that.
He will not eat asparagus because of that.
Really?
Really? I died
asparagus
laughing.
Is very good for your liver.
I know. I died laughing in that scene. I was like, oh, well, there you go.
That is hysterical.
That is hysterical. And I love that he did that to break the ice.
Yeah.
But then he turned into an asshole later.
Yeah,
then he's like, okay, and then who wants to play beach volleyball?
And he said,
I mean, they needed that icebreaker at that point.
Yeah. And he said, banana hammock. Let's get on our banana hammocks.
Yeah.
It's like the little Speedo.
Yeah.
And I like how they did the whole Top Gun thing.
Yeah, the whole Top Gun thing. But Speedos on. They weren't wearing banana hammocks.
No. But I just thought it was funny.
I guess he wanted them to. Yeah.
And I thought it was a little weird. Like, why were they spraying them with cooking spray? At first, I thought it was sunscreen.
Just for the, probably for the whole Top Gun thing.
They wore cooking spray in Top Gun?
I don't know. Maybe they were spraying each other. I'd never watched the second one, and I haven't seen the first one probably 30
I've seen
years.
it.
There's no cooking spray
involved.
I
Just thought it was
I just
weird.
assumed it was all with the theme.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Yeah. No. So this is what we were talking about. So Salt Lake and New York have the same production company, right? And New York did the Clueless, and now this one did the Top Gun.
Right.
Well, two.
Right?
One did dodgeball, one did volleyball.
Yep.
Right? Yep. So I don't know, Laura, if you saw it, but I reposted the thing about Real Housewives of New York. The ratings are 1,000% less than they were in their heyday.
Well, there you go.
And that was from the Sun Times. And I was like, oh my gosh, like they need to reboot the reboot. And one of our listeners commented like, they're done. And I was like, I hope not. Like, we just need to get new producers. They're producing it wrong.
The producers are doing it all wrong because these women can be interesting.
Yeah, they absolutely can be.
The producers are focusing on all the wrong things.
I agree totally.
Now, who's in New York? Shed Media. Shed Media. I'm sorry, Shed Media, but we're not really happy with you right now. We're not. As Bravo fans, we're not happy with Shed Media. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
So I thought it was fun watching them play, though, the beach volleyball. At least there was some levity in the situation. Because then we see Mary goes into Robert's room.
So
that
sad.
was really, really hard to watch.
Yeah.
It was very hard to watch.
I have 2 points about that when you're ready.
No, go right ahead.
So I want to know if anybody caught the bong, the butane lighter, and the butane refill on his dresser that Mary sat right next to. And then did anybody catch that the girlfriend was trying to take a hit out of the vape that she had on the bed, and she went to reach for
That
it.
thing in her hand. Yeah, that was
And
a
he put his
pink.
hand-
Yeah, I
yeah,
I
saw
thought that
that.
was her phone.
he
Yeah.
put his hand over it to be like,
Yeah.
no, like, don't be hitting it with my mom right there. Sad
And on camera.
state of
Yeah,
affairs.
I saw that.
Yeah. And I
I saw
thought
that.
too, Dorinda would be having a fit, them eating in the bed like that. Remember
Yeah.
Dorinda with the
That's not allowed.
Bluestone Manor? She was like, no
Yeah.
eating in bed.
Yeah, no eating
No
in your
eating
bedroom.
upstairs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
no eating
food
upstairs, yeah.
upstairs.
But
No
I'm
food,
saying in the
water.
bed like
No
in the
food
bed
or
like
drink,
that.
just water.
In the bed like that, she would have had a cow.
I didn't catch the bong and the lighter though. That
Yeah.
was a hard scene to watch, man.
Very
My heart
hard.
breaks for Mary. She's
Mine
going
does
through it.
too.
She's going
Yeah.
through it.
I mean, she even said, "Did I come at a time when we're having an eating session?"
I mean, let's just pray it's only weed, right? Or no, I think we know it's
No,
not
it's
only
not.
weed, right?
It's
not.
not. No.
I hope he gets
Let's
help.
pray that he's gotten the help that
Yes,
he needs.
absolutely. Me
absolutely.
too. I pray.
And so let's hope that Lex has also gotten the help that she needs.
Of course. Both of them.
So then Bronwyn announces after they're done playing their beach volleyball, it's time to get ready for dinner. Dinner's in an hour. And they're going to be the celebration dinner for their anniversary. I didn't realize that she was inviting all those other people there, which was very nice.
Not nice for the people.
John and Lisa.
Yeah,
Well,
they had to sit through that
who had to
dinner.
sit and listen
Yeah.
in on that.
that was awkward, right?
Yeah.
So then John and Lisa are talking about while they're getting ready about Angie and what Sean said about Brooks. And Justin is talking to Whitney and asked if she's going to be good with Lisa. And Bronwyn shows up at the party wearing her $4 million necklace to dinner. I thought it was a little bit odd when Lisa comes out in pants and she's like, I'm a little bit underdressed. And she
Yeah.
really was.
She
At
was
first,
underdressed.
At first, I thought they were denim. And then when I saw like a better view of them, I was like, oh no, they're a little bit dressier. But still, she was really underdressed.
Compared to what other people were wearing, for sure. But I mean, it was a house dinner, so I get it. Like, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
she didn't want to put on an evening gown, but compared to what other people were wearing. But, you know, those people who were coming in, like, they're going to be on TV and they're not normally on TV. So, of course,
Right.
they're going to go all out and get dressed up, where Lisa's on TV. So she's like, oh, it's a house dinner. I'm just going to, you know, go cash or more cash than.
Right. Right.
But she still looked good. She
No,
always
she
looked good.
No, she absolutely did. She did. And then they're introducing Lisa to one of Todd's lawyers. And they said that, you know, like you, he has several lawyers, and this is one of
you're
Todd's
not the only
lawyers.
one with 6 lawyers.
And then Todd's talking to his friends, and he said, these guys over here own a tequila company. And the guy's like, oh, cool. And Todd's like, it's a mediocre tequila.
I didn't
I
catch
thought
that. Did he
that
say
was
that?
hysterical. That was hysterical. I was
Yes.
like,
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very good. That was a good
Oh,
one.
he's shading Lisa something proper, huh?
I thought that, yeah. He's like, yeah, it's a mediocre tequila. And then Whitney comes out and, you know, she's like, oh, look at this. There's a mariachi band. I thought it was a little odd how Todd gave her a hug.
Whitney?
Did you see that? Yeah.
I didn't catch that either. What was I doing while this was on?
It was late. You were, you know.
I was decompressing.
Did you catch that, Laura, where Todd gave her a hug?
No. I didn't even, I mean, I'm sure I saw it. I just didn't even think anything of it. Well,
Yeah, I just
imagine-
thought because he's not very warm and fuzzy.
Yeah.
And he didn't hug anybody else. Like, I just thought, or maybe she just forced it on him because she is that kind of person. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe he, you know, kind of sees that she, you know, because she was the one who went into Bronwyn went after the whole thing with her and Lisa by the pool. And maybe,
Yeah.
you know, I did see several scenes where Justin was like, oh, thanks a lot. Like, you know, they were both very,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Gracious.
Yeah, they were both, that's the word. They were both very gracious. So maybe that
Yeah.
was what struck the chord with him.
Yes.
Yeah.
It could be. And then so
For
they're
sure.
standing next to each other. He also even said to her, you look beautiful tonight. And then she's asking him about the initials, the RTBAN. Did you see the big giant letters?
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
the dumbest thing I've ever
That was
seen.
dumb.
Yeah.
That
What was it
dumb.
for?
RTB is Richard Todd Bradley. Those are his initials. And then there was one B there. So the B was for two purposes, one for Bradley. The other B was for Bronwyn Allison Newport, BAN.
Yeah, that.
Yeah,
I was like,
weird.
this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, no.
I thought the band was kind of dumb too.
I don't get it.
I didn't think the band was cool either. It was just weird. The whole thing was weird. Like they got so much money that could have been like an awesome little get together, but it was just ended up to be like weird.
Yeah.
And then Whitney and Angie are talking about what Seth is wearing to the dinner party, his Brooks Marks baseball cap. Did you see that?
Yes.
I think that some guys look better with hats on, and I think that Seth is one of them, and he's going to wear a hat no matter
it's
where
not
he goes.
appropriate to a dinner like that. It's just not.
I'm saying.
I will tell you, as the wife of someone who wears a hat all the time, everywhere we go, would never wear a baseball hat out like that ever. He just doesn't wear baseball hats. But if we go someplace where if we go to church, he takes off his hat. If we're out at dinner, he'll take off his hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to ask if he takes it off at dinner.
Yeah, he'll take off his hat at dinner. I mean, at home, sometimes he leaves it on when we're at dinner, but he's at home.
But you're home.
It's at home.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. This was like a house dinner, so I think they kind of took it as more of a casual affair.
But it was a baseball cap. Like
I get it.
a baseball cap is never appropriate. Like I just not at a
Dinner
not
party.
unless you're at a baseball game.
Right.
If you're at a
right.
baseball game or you're like, in a marathon doing an athletic sport where you might need to keep the sun out of your eyes, maybe then you wear a baseball cap. I'm just saying. I think he was doing it to give airtime to his son, Brooks Marks, to get the name out there, which, okay.
Well,
but...
and because of what he brought up at dinner.
Yes, and because of what he brought up at dinner. So then they all go and they sit down at the table. I have to say the table setting was absolutely beautiful. The flowers down the middle were gorgeous. All the men are sitting next to their wives. Like I like how they had it, set up.
Yeah.
And also I noted that they were actually eating.
Yeah.
They were all actually eating. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, no, I did notice that.
Not like
they were
Beverly
actually
Hills?
eating.
No.
Like that fake nonsense.
Yeah. Then Bronwyn gives this
Squidgy.
extremely awkward toast about what she loves about Todd.
Very awkward.
And then he makes it even more awkward by taking out his black card.
Yeah, that was just
Yeah,
it was just
that was
weird.
weird.
It's weird.
What's
It's weird.
it was cringy, right?
It was very cringy.
The black card thing was cringy.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
weird.
I'll
Not
be
as
honest.
cringy as the game they're about to play, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
So
well,
then
games are always bad.
Yeah. Can we just stop playing games at housewives' dinners? Just stop. It doesn't work.
Please.
yeah.
Except that one. Never have I ever. That was a good one.
The other thing I don't know if you noticed, like the wind is blowing, their hair is blowing everywhere, everyone's freezing, they're wrapped in blankets, they're wearing jackets like for this, outside dinner. And then Angie gets up and she gets the whiteboards and the markers, but she only has enough for the housewives, and they're going to play the Newlywed Game. And the rest of the tables sit like, come on.
I know.
It's so weird.
It was dumb because you had all these, if it was just them, it would have been fine, but you had all these other people sitting there. Like, it's just awkward. It was
really
awkward
was.
for us to watch. Could you imagine
Yeah.
being those poor people sitting there?
No.
No.
And then you bring in the
So
sexual
question number
position.
one was,
That's what I mean. Come on. Listen, we're not in our 20s or, even the 30s. Like, these women are in their 50s, most of them.
Come on.
Like, nobody
40s.
wants to answer that question.
right. So question number one was, who apologizes first? Lisa says her, John says him. They're the only ones that got it wrong. Seth
There's
says
no way Lisa ever apologizes first.
Yeah.
Come
No.
on.
no, she doesn't tell the truth either.
Right.
Seth says him, Meredith agrees, Bronwyn admits it's her, Todd agrees, Whitney admits it's her, Justin agrees, Sean admits it's him, and Angie agrees. They're the only ones that got it wrong. The next one was, like you said, Lori, what is your husband's favorite sexual position? And Todd said all. Bronwyn didn't agree. Lisa said all of them. John said on top. Seth and Meredith did not agree. I don't remember what
Meredith
their
wouldn't answer.
They said any.
is that what I don't remember what their
Meredith
answer
said
was.
not up for discussion.
Any? Okay. So then Whitney said Cowgirl, reverse Cowgirl, and BJ. And Justin said, we're getting a little personal here. So
Yeah.
I was like,
You think?
and then Angie and Sean both both got it right. Angie said reverse cowgirl, and Sean said from behind.
Yeah. Which is so funny because that's like a Greek thing. And she said that.
Is it a Greek thing? Is that like a well-known Greek thing? I never heard it until she said it.
It's a Greek thing, and allegedly, I'm not Greek, but I'm just saying allegedly, it's a Greek thing that anal is a big thing.
Okay.
So that's why Angie said, I know it's a Greek thing, but not that whole.
Oh my, that's just too much. Okay. Too much info. TMI.
I know.
TMI. I'm so not interested.
I know. And I don't even know if that's true. That's just allegedly. That's what I've heard.
Right.
So
the next one was, what's your wife's least favorite? Oh, who's your wife's least favorite person at the table? And it can't be you.
You. Yeah. That was a bad question. Like, where did you think this question was going?
Horrible. So Lisa says Whitney. John didn't answer. Angie says Meredith. Sean also says Meredith. Bronwyn writes down Lisa. Whitney writes down Meredith. Justin wrote down Lisa. I'm like, this is the stupidest thing.
How shocked was Lisa when Bronwyn said for Todd? She's like, me?
Yeah.
I just fucking told you if you didn't straighten your ass out, he was kicking you out.
I know. And then Whitney says, Lisa, you still feel like Justin owes you an apology. Lisa said, yes, but you were aggressive towards him. And Lisa said, I was frustrated because what you were saying is a lie. Now, didn't they just solve that at lunch?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then she brings it up again. So then Bronwyn says, I am over this argument about the rumor. I agree. Like, enough already. Yeah. Justin says to Lisa that he wishes he didn't respond to her so harshly. So he apologizes for that. And then Lisa apologizes to Justin. And did you see the look on Whitney's face when Justin apologized? Whitney's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I told you you're not apologizing.
Yeah. I think he did it more for John.
I do too. Yeah, I mean, he did it because who cares at this point? Who cares?
Exactly. And I don't think these guys want to have any issues with each other.
Right. So let's see. Sean, I appreciate earlier the conversation that we had. Who said that?
Meredith?
Yes. Meredith says that. I appreciate the conversation that we had. And I walked away a little hurt and upset because I felt like I gave you a heartfelt apology about something I didn't even do. And then I told you I was hurt by something you said and you didn't apologize to me.
And by the way, she did do what she's saying she didn't do.
I know. She did.
Right.
And is it a heartfelt apology if you're only doing it because you want an apology back?
Absolutely
there you
not.
Go.
That is not how a heartfelt apology works.
Absolutely not.
It doesn't work that way.
I think Meredith is totally clueless on that front.
I just think it's comical that this woman talks about everyone lies.
Right.
She's so hurt that he brought up her son. Your son is a grown-ass man. And your son has a mouth on him.
Right.
And your son talks shit. So.
But Meredith is the one who brought up her son. Meredith is the one who brought up her son.
Yes.
Meredith is the one who made the social
media post. Exactly.
I would never say this because my son, blah, blah. And I love how
So she is using her son as a pawn.
Absolutely. But I loved how Sean was
nope. saying, I would never because of my son. That is using your son.
Right.
Absolutely.
He's not wrong.
No. And I loved how Sean was like, nope, not having it. Like, so sorry if your feelings are hurt. But he was just like, nope.
Yeah. And then Meredith is like, well, clearly I'm not getting an apology. No,
you're not.
You said you're not getting an apology.
Yep. I love it.
Exactly.
Move on. Mm-hmm.
And then Sean says, like, what is it that I said? Like, what is it you think I said that I need to apologize for? And then Seth reads from his phone the headline. It was a headline. Meredith Marks was using her gay son as a scapegoat for her actions. And then he holds out his phone and goes, proof, biatch.
Yeah, you like.
And he called, and he was talking to Whitney, right?
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he was talking to Whitney. Because Whitney also said, what did he say? Like, what did he say? Sean said it, and then Whitney said, what did he say?
And listen, we all know that is clickbait. The title's going to say something, and then you click on the article, and it's something totally different. We all know that.
So
Like Meredith and Seth are living in this alternate universe and they think all stupid.
I watched the
ahead,
after
Lauren.
show. I watched the after show, and in it, let's see, Seth didn't even listen to the podcast that Sean was on.
Oh, I
I'm
believe
sure.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
admitted
believe that.
that he didn't even watch it or listen to it. So that's kind of
Right.
crazy. But he was like a
So
10-year-old.
he's just believing that clickbait title. He probably didn't even click on the article and read it.
in the first place. Yeah. No.
He did it. He did it because he had to leave the next morning. He was leaving early the trip. His wife was already pissed off at him.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he did it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because Meredith wanted him to do it. It's the only reason he was there, so that he could do that.
And in the
So
after
then what
show,
happens?
in the after show, Meredith also, they were also saying that Meredith didn't consider that saying the word, that biatch is not the same as bitch. And it was just kind of a joke and it shouldn't have been taken like, and I'm like, what are you, out of your mind? Are you out of your mind?
It wasn't a joke. He was
No.
very aggressive with the way he said it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, he was.
It was not in jest at all.
No.
Oh.
And that is the same as bitch, by the way. It may
It
even
is.
be worse because it's got more emphasis.
Mhm.
Right. In the aggression, for sure.
Right. So then Angie tries to like change the subject and she says, why don't we talk about Gwen reconnecting with her grandparents? And Todd said, no, that's not happening. We're not
Boy,
talking
was
about
that a bad move, huh?
I
Yeah.
mean, I don't think Angie meant anything by it.
Me neither.
Yeah, I was
But he shut
thinking
that shit
about
down.
that.
He gave serious Tom Girardi vibes there.
Yeah. I was thinking about
Yes,
that.
he
Like,
did.
if that was produced, then I think Angie's a really good actress because she did seem like after she said it, she was like, "Oh fuck," you know. So
Yeah.
I don't know that that
I
was
don't know.
produced.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe prior to that scene, they were like, maybe you can bring up the grandparent thing. But
Right, but I don't
again,
think she was
producers, back
expecting that.
off, man, because
No,
Todd was
because
not having it.
no, because Bronwyn says that's actually worse than the subject we were just talking about. She's like, although I think Lisa was well intentioned, my feelings that they've not been involved in my child's life, meaning the grandparents, since she was born. Todd said, that's not the feeling, that's the fact, Bronwyn.
Does still blow me away that they did not reach out when their son passed away. It blows me away. If there's any time to swallow your pride, who gives a shit what your stature is or where you stand in the community? That's your blood, and you lost your son. How do you not reach out? It blows
Yeah.
me away.
I know.
And I
I
do
know.
think Todd is coming from a place of protecting that young girl. I do.
I
don't
do
think his
too.
delivery is very good. And I do think he has an authoritative role in their in their marriage. And it's not a good look on TV, but I do think it's coming from a place of trying to protect her.
Yeah, and
No,
in
I completely agree with you. I completely agree.
Yeah, in that after show, Meredith is totally delusional because she says, well, I gave Angie a pass on this whole situation with Sean. I gave her a pass. I'm not holding her accountable. Yeah. But she chose to jump into the fire with him. That's what she actually said. I was like, girl, you're crazy as hell. You're
Meredith
just
is,
crazy as
she
hell.
brings nothing to the table.
I
Yep.
was like,
But
what?
a
Her and
bunch of
Lisa.
bullshit. She just brings a bunch of bullshit.
The two of them are in La La Land.
But at least Lisa shows her kids, talks about her kids. Meredith, you can't believe anything that comes out of her mouth. And she never talks about her daughter. She only talks about Brooks. And maybe that's because her daughter doesn't want her to talk about her. But what are you doing on the show? You bring nothing. You don't even talk about your business. She doesn't talk about anything except how people have, hurt her or, come at her. She brings nothing. I was thinking about this because I was thinking about New York and how they're saying it's so bad. And we've discussed this, that these women are interesting if they were producing it right. First season OC, we saw Vicky Gunvalson as an entrepreneur, a business owner. We saw her marriage to Don. They were very forthcoming with their marriage. We saw her as a mom. We saw her as a leader in her community in the insurance world. She was hosting parties at her house. Gina Keogh. We saw her as a real estate agent. We saw her as a mom. She showed everything about her kids and her marriage, Gina Keogh. We saw more than we probably should have with her kids. Her oldest son was, and I have a son like that. So I appreciate the fact that she put that all out there. We saw everything about these women. We see none of that anymore.
Right.
But that was the draw. That was the draw.
Yeah, I don't like this overly produced drama for the sake of drama. I don't like beating a dead horse. Like, enough already.
Yep.
Are you allowed to say that, beating a dead horse? Well, I mean, it's dead, right? So what does it matter? I mean, Peter, don't come after me. I mean, it's already dead.
Right, please.
No horses were harmed in the making of this podcast.
That's right.
Good thing you put that disclaimer in.
Good for the disclaimer.
Fantastic.
And
why was this episode so long, too? Bravo, stop with the extended episodes.
Yeah.
60 minutes is well long enough for us to have to sit through that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I like how during the dinner, Sean said, that lunch, Sean said straight out to Meredith, you're not going to victimize yourself in this. I'm not going that route. I just thought he was really good with her, that he would just was boom.
Yeah. I really like Sean and Angie. I think Sean's very attractive. I love a bald head. So I'm here for Sean and Angie.
And I mean, the pictures of Sean when he was younger, he's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, he still is.
He was and he is.
Yes.
He was and he
yes.
is. Yep.
I agree. Angie, we're a big fan. Good choice.
Yes. It's funny because I didn't really like Angie at first, but the more I've gotten to know her, the more I like her.
Well, I think her first season, she was a friend of with Angie K.
Mm-hmm.
And it was almost like a competition between them because Jen was still on the show. I think, she didn't have a real good look the first season as a friend. But as soon as they gave her snowflake, I think she showed up.
No, I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
So just back a little bit to the Todd situation. So then he said, actually, Bronwyn said, Lisa didn't mean to step on the minefield. Todd said, this is not a minefield. We're not walking into this. We're not talking about this. This is overdone. So then in Bronwyn's confessional, she said she was worried about the ladies embarrassing her. And in this moment, I feel like it's Todd that's embarrassing me. And I don't think she should be embarrassed by Todd because one was trying, like you said, he was trying to protect her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And these women are aggressive and they're petty
Mm-hmm.
and they need someone to just shut it down. That's what they need.
Right.
And I'll be quite honest with you, there's not another man at that table, maybe Sean, that would have shut something down.
Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely.
I don't see Seth doing it. I don't see John doing it. I don't see Justin doing it. I don't see those men having the balls to do it.
No, they just let them
he's
run
not
rampant.
doing it to get into the drama.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
The other ones would definitely just let them run rampant.
Yes. Yes.
So did you guys
that's
see that?
Why I don't think she should be
posted an
embarrassed.
apology. She posted an apology, Bronwyn, on her Instagram to her husband.
Bronwyn
No.
Yes, she did. It was very sweet. She said, I'm really sorry that I didn't say what I really should have said, which is I'm so happy to be married to you for the past 10 years. And she really did a nice apology. And you saw on the upcoming previews, I don't know if you guys saw this, of next week's episode, because Todd really gives it to her and says, I'm really disappointed that you sat in that hot tub and screamed with Lisa. You did. It's not worthy of you. You should have kept your dignity. You should have got up and walked away. And he's really right. And, people may not agree with his delivery, but I mean, I would appreciate if my husband said, what are you doing? Don't stoop to that. So I don't know. That was interesting.
Right.
My husband has done that. I'd tell you a quick funny story. Last year when Brick Memorial was playing Jackson, we were at the basketball game and the Jackson student section was getting real rowdy and saying a lot of things. And I was sitting with somebody who was saying things back. And then I started. And that's very unlike me. Eric and I don't ever sit together at games because Eric doesn't sit. He goes from,
Right.
Right. So he was up in the bleachers behind the Jackson student section, and he's texting me, "Stop. You are fighting with children.
Yep.
Stop."
Stop.
And then at halftime, he walked over and said to me, You have to stop." I said, "I know. I'm so sorry." And I didn't say another word the rest of the game.
But that's
Eric
what a
would
healthy
definitely
relationship
call me out on
does.
that.
That's what a healthy relationship
Yeah,
does.
he was right. He was right. Yeah. And I feel bad that Todd felt that way about Bronwyn, because I think she felt like she just had to stick up for herself. And I don't think she was really out of line yelling, but, you know.
I think I didn't see that clip, but it reminds me of what just happened with Sean. Like Sean was overhearing these conversations, and what his wife is telling him is happening, what Angie's saying is happening. And that's why he spoke up about it. That's why I said Sean is the only one at that table that would be able to shut these ladies down and have the balls to do it. And that's kind of what he was saying, like, don't stoop to their level. And Sean was saying, Angie, you don't need to take this. Don't let people speak to you that way.
Right.
And that's really what he was saying. Like, this is your house. Like, this is your trip. You don't let anyone talk to you that way. You get up and disengage, which is, by the way, what Meredith Marks would do. She wouldn't allow anyone to.
She would totally disengage.
Right. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that that's good advice.
Yeah.
To be quite honest with you.
And you got to think at that dinner table, when she said, never, I didn't think it would be Todd to embarrass me, there were colleagues of theirs there,
Mhm.
attorneys, and this is all carrying on. And I think that was another reason he shut it down.
Right.
Sure.
He was right. Again, his delivery wasn't great. Definitely gave some Tom Girardi vibes. But it is what it is. Not everybody, wraps everything up in a pretty package with a big bow.
Yeah.
He got the job done, though.
He did. And it's funny because I'm seeing so much hate online for him. People really do not like him. They really don't like him. And I
think he's a breath of fresh air.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does come off harsh. So I don't have a problem with him either, to be quite honest with you.
You sure he's not a fresh of breath air, as Teresa said on Villain?
Yeah. He'll be that.
I'm not watching the show, but I did see that clip. How about in his confessional, Todd said he'll never do this again.
Who could blame him?
I don't blame him.
Who would want to pay money
but I
for
wonder
that?
what that means for Bronwyn next season.
Well, look, sometimes
I took it as he won't be on the show again.
Right, maybe.
Well,
maybe not.
Maybe. Or maybe he just won't be participating in these sit downs with these crazy ladies. Because he said it wasn't Lisa's business, like, to even do what she did. And it really wasn't. It wasn't, but I don't know. Then we go to day 2 of Palm Springs, and
No, that was day 2.
yeah, why do I have that?
Now they're leaving, right? Now they're packing up and leaving.
Packing up.
No, we got to go to the car race.
God, that's right.
No, this is day 2. So that was day 1.
You're right.
This is day 2. Day 2, they get up and they're getting ready to go to the car race. Oh no, before that, before they go to the car race, they finished eating dinner and they said that they were all tired and they were going to bed. But then the next day we see that they all stayed up together and they really got along. They were playing pool. They were like laughing, which they didn't show us that. They just showed it to you afterwards. Which, by the way, if you're going to give us an extra 15 minutes, show us them having fun.
Yeah, exactly. Right? We want to see that.
Right.
That would have been nice.
Like, that's what's annoying.
Yeah.
So then they get the car to go to the races, and Bronwyn gets out of the car at the races, and she said, like, I bring these girls into this race, and they have, like, no idea. Like, this is super VVIP, which is funny because if you watch Dubai, like, that was the big thing this year. It was the VVIP at Beyonce.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, VVIP.
At Beyonce?
And there was the Indy race car driver, and Todd is very good friends with this guy, Davey Martin. And, he pulled all these strings so that they could put this nice event together for the ladies to meet these, Indy car drivers and watch the race. And I was surprised to see Seth there because we thought he was leaving in the morning, but maybe because Meredith gave him such a hard time and he wanted to watch the race, maybe? I don't know.
I'm sure it was he wanted to watch the race.
You think?
Yeah.
So then they get there and Bronwyn goes up to Lisa and says, when you're done taking selfies, maybe we can chat, which is maybe a little bit more appropriate place to do this, like not at a table with everybody. And they start to try and talk about it. And it's so loud because the cars are moving up that they can't even have the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, oh, bad timing. And then what happens next?
They go back.
They don't know where John is. They go back. They finish the race. They go back, and then they're getting ready to go, and they're getting the cars, and they're waiting for the cars. And then Lisa says, how are we getting home? And she's like, I got you all tickets. I booked your flights. And then Lisa sees her seat, and she's like, I have 17A. Where's John? I don't even know. Coach? I don't even own a coach. I can't fly in coach.
Yeah. I don't carry a coach, and I don't fly coach. And look, I want to see a decadent lifestyle. Don't get me wrong, but don't be an asshole.
Total asshole.
Don't be an asshole. You're literally saying that you can't wait to see your son, and now you're going to fly to LA to fly back to Utah.
So you don't have to go coach?
Get on the fucking plane, Lisa.
Yeah. So in that after
Yeah,
show,
so what are you doing?
45 minutes. It was a 45-minute flight.
45-minute flight. And John's like, you can't just close your eyes and pretend you're in first class. Now, Bronwyn did say there were four class tickets, though, right? So it was her and Todd, and who else?
She didn't say. She said she booked 2 for her and Todd, and she put the other ones next to their spouses, the next closest seats, because she couldn't pick one couple to go in first class with her.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
So on the after show, Bronwyn says, well, let me introduce Elisa to the rest of the world, which other people live. So she said that, her and her husband have flown coach many times when her and her husband have flown coach many times when they're doing something last minute or whatever. And so she was saying that word on the street is Lisa's been telling people that her and John have more money, and that Lisa is putting a down payment on her own plane. And then Lisa goes, when it switches back. Yeah. And then when it switches back to Lisa on the after show, Lisa says, I have had better times in Palm Springs at the Madison Club or the Porsche Club. So she was with Brittany in this scene of the after show. And Brittany says, oh, what, you were slumming it this weekend? And Lisa says, yes. And Bronwyn says, if Lisa has 87...
She felt like she was slumming it.
Yeah. If Lisa has 87 cybersecurity people, she should just get herself a next NetJets and get her own plane ride home. I guess that's something where you could get a ride on a private jet. You don't pay money.
Yeah, why didn't she just rent a private jet?
Yeah.
You got all that money to throw around. Rent yourself a private jet to take your 45-minute flight back to Utah.
Yeah. She
asshole.
said, well, Lisa could have gone to the Porsche dealer and bought herself her own car to drive home, or she could have paid $30,000 for her own plane that she could have taken home, or she could have paid and stayed an extra night and then flown home tomorrow. There were plenty of options for Lisa and her unlimited budget to do whatever she wanted to do.
That was really funny. And how about John gets some balls about him and tells his wife to knock the shit off and get herself ready to get on the plane?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
That was ridiculous.
It was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen on a Housewives show, and we have seen some seriously ridiculous things.
Mm-hmm.
But that was ridiculous.
And then there was a scene on the after show with
Yes.
Whitney saying that Lisa was even bitching about her not getting her Sky Miles.
Are you?
Oh. And then Brahma was saying how it's okay for Lisa to put her glam on in coach. Brahman's like, I put my, if my glam flies with me, they fly first class. So it was just really...
I was thinking the same thing, though. I wonder how Lisa's glam was getting home. She probably stuck them in a rent-a-car.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
She was way out of line.
Yeah. That it was a shaky branch for John to go out on, saying that Lisa has never lied about anybody at the table. And then you see Mary chime in.
Right.
And says, okay, so then they're about to break up because I guess they just don't even know each other. And Mary brought up when Lisa said that thing about Meredith is a whore and slept with half of New York. So Mary's like, oh, so that wasn't a lie?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's craziness.
It is craziness.
Yeah,
there was a lot of
that
craziness.
was really Yeah, that was a lot. That scene with Lisa, that was a lot.
And then Bronwyn,
Honestly, I think every scene with Lisa is a lot.
everything. Absolutely.
I know you like Lisa. I know you like
No,
Lisa.
I'm starting not to.
I know.
Mm,
Listen, I had
okay.
this realization with Heather.
I know.
Yeah, Heather Dubrow. Yes. OC Heather.
Yeah.
Right.
So Bronwyn was even saying, like, about John, like, if you recently had a conversation with Todd about your wife being aggressive, then you have a conversation with Justin about the same thing, and now Sean is saying that your wife is aggressive, then maybe there's a problem. Like,
Right.
Three
There's a common
people-
denominator
three
here.
people can't be wrong.
And it's not Whitney.
Right. It's not Whitney.
It's not Whitney.
Right. Exactly.
Telling ya.
Oh, these men. They're whipped. They are so whipped. I would
John
never.
really is. That's upsetting to watch.
I would never. I just can't. I can't.
I
Yep.
mean,
It's crazy.
everything before that, okay, you want to stick up for your wife, okay. But the coach thing was too much. Just tell her to get on the plane. Your son's home waiting for you. Your son that she's so worried about because of, things going on with him. Just get on the plane and go home. You've been gone 3 days or however long.
Mm-hmm. So
Well, he does say to her, "You want to make it a longer trip?" And she said yes.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's like
Yeah.
ridiculous. Like, don't even give her that option.
Well, I'd say, yeah, you could make it a longer trip. I'm going in my seat.
I mean, he treats her like a child because she acts like one.
that's what she
But then you
acts
let her get her way.
So
Yeah.
Bronwyn did a post on Instagram, and it's a picture of Sarah Jessica Parker standing in front of a brownstone, and the post says, "Wait, the icon that is SJP on the show that changed fashion and costuming with, oh my God, could it be? It's a bird, it's a plane, it's a coach." Sarah Jessica Parker's holding a coach, and actually coach actually answered and said, "Oh," so I thought that was kind of fun.
Well, Tess just told me that Coach is doing like a whole rebrand, and they're like their bags are going to be a lot more expensive than they are now.
That's interesting.
Yeah, they're going to be up there with like Marc Jacobs, like in line with that.
You know what? I was at work today, and one of my coworkers, I was standing there talking to her, and she just came in, and she had on like a classic Coach bag, like from the 2000s. When they were all leather, the smooth leather, and it was in pristine condition. I was like, I love that. Like, you just don't see that anymore. She's like, yeah, it was my mom. She got it. She got it from her mom's stuff. I was like, it's
I'm going to make
gorgeous.
you laugh. I am now using the very first. Eric was on a kick for a while, and I would get a Coach bag like every year for Christmas or my birthday or Mother's Day. So I do have quite a few because of that. I am now using the very first Coach bag he ever got me. It's black leather, and it's just as you had described it. It's the smooth leather, and it is in perfect condition because it comes in a like a.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
And I
back it
always
up.
put it back in there. Like, I'm very careful with my bags. It's my favorite bag that he's ever gotten me, and I'm using it right now. It's funny you brought that up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have,
Got to be. I mean, how old? Tess? 20. It's got to be almost 20 years old.
I have 3 of them. 2 are
Actually, I'm just thinking of
plain black, and one is just like a little like canvas little thing with a little starfish on it. But those are the only 3 that I have. But the 2 are plain black, and they're nice when they're plain like that. I don't like them with the print at all. I don't want to know nothing about.
Yeah.
I have so many Coach bags. It's not even funny. It's like my guilty pleasure. Bill and I would used to like go. That was our thing. Like, we'd go to the Coach outlets, and I would get so many Coach bags, but all the leather ones, I don't know where they are. I mean, I know I used to sell some of them. I'd get bored with them, and I'd sell them like at garage sales and stuff.
Yeah.
I have to look for them. I have like boxes. It's actually obscene. I should probably look for them. But the stuff that they sell today is not nearly as nice as it used to be.
Yeah,
And
not. It
honestly,
doesn't
it's
last.
it's just as expensive, and it doesn't last. And the leather is, it's not the same. It is not. I miss the old Coach.
Yep. Well, they're rebranding, so maybe they're going to make the quality better. I don't know. If they're going to increase the prices, then they should.
Yeah, that's why I bought that bag at Smithville, that Italian leather bag. because
Yeah.
it so reminded me. Like as soon as I walked in that store, I smelt that leather.
Yeah.
And when I picked up that bag, I was like, oh my God, like this is what I remember.
Yeah.
I love that bag.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Bronwyn's husband, Mr. Bradley, is being sued $60,000 from an Instacart driver that says that the dogs, Bronwyn's dogs, are attacking the delivery people. So he's been actually sued
Saw that.
2 times in the past 2 years. So it was the first one for the $60,000, which was dismissed, but then they reached a mutual settlement. And then the second one was just a few months later after the first one, and that was an Amazon driver, and that one is for $300,000, and the case is still open.
$300,000.
Yeah.
What'd
You
the
like
dog
that?
do to you?
They both claim, both the Instacart driver and the Amazon driver are claiming the exact same things, but one was for $60,000, and now this new one. The new one is at $300,000 because
What were their
the
injuries?
60
Did they have like massive
well,
injuries?
they said, trauma, scarred for life, the dog bit them, scratched them, blah, 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 blah. They both said the same things, but it's just interesting. The
I mean,
$300,000
I could see
one,
like if you have a scar on your face.
right. The $300,000 one is only there because of the $60,000 one that got settled. It's just trying to
Yeah.
get a payday. Is what they're doing.
Right. Yeah.
Well, maybe you control your dogs and don't let them get to the delivery drivers. How about that?
Yeah, you
And
could
maybe
do
you don't
that.
put a $4 million necklace on your wife's neck on national TV. That's what's happening. You see Tamra's threatening to sue. I forget what it's Bravo something. It's some podcaster or blogger or something because of what they were saying about her. I'm like, but you people go on these shows and you show this decadent lifestyle. That's what's going to happen. People are going to come out, litigious people are going to come out and try to sue you.
Yeah, that's what
Especially if the
happens.
dogs are
That's what
biting them.
Yeah, that's what happens.
I mean, we already know the dog's shitting all over the house and she's not cleaning it up. So I can't even imagine what's happening when the delivery drivers are coming.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. You ready for anything else, Laura?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. So the quote is, "A real friend is one who walks in when the rest of the world walks out." I figured we'd do some friendship ones because these girls have problems with friendships. And here's the next one.
Yeah.
They're actually coworkers. They're not friends.
This is true.
That's right.
Next time we'll do workplace
Yeah.
quotes.
So, I don't know. They just need help. They need a lot of help.
I think they do need help. I want to let our listeners know we're running a contest. Please check out our social media. We're doing a contest, trying to get some new listeners. We're raffling off a bag, custom embroidered We Wine Whenever bag.
It's not Coach.
It's
It's
not
not Coach, but it's better. I mean,
You don't have one with
it's
you,
got
do
our
you?
name on
It's
it.
custom. It's custom.
I wanted to.
Yeah, I got one
show
in my
them.
back pocket.
Yeah.
No, but if you go to our social media, you'll be able to see it.
Yeah.
Because one of our listeners made a very nice post for us.
That
'Cause
was
I put a
so
really
nice.
janky one up there. I'll be honest with you. That was so
Yeah,
nice.
that was nice.
And
Thank you.
I pinned it to our Instagram and our Facebook because I was just going to keep posting it every day. And until Andrew said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I want people to see." He goes, "Just pin it." I was like, "Oh, okay. I'll just pin it."
There you go.
We don't know, Andrew. You got to
I
tell us
know.
these
So I
things.
pinned it. So go check it out. Until
All
next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.